In a Year podcast, episode 11, with Admin R and Admin M. Um, so where are we at this story? Okay. I don't even remember exactly what sign she's at, how many men she's seen at this point. But we're at the point where last episode it ends with ex-boyfriend, what's his name?
Gino.
Yeah, that's it. Confronts her.
God.
He's such an asshole. God.
Such a jerk. Such a jerk.
God, I think around I don't know what episode I just started not liking him anymore. But I mean, it just I didn't hate him in the beginning, but it's as the episode continued, I started hating him more and more and more. And this
that was a
definitely
nozzle move with the ring. I'm sorry, she had every right in episode 1 to deep fry that man's
watch.
And he has just gotten progressively worse.
Yeah, true. Somebody on Vicky was like, no, she did it wrong. She spent the whole daggone series talking about how much of a victim this dude was and how much Midu was selfish and shit. And I just couldn't. I was snarking that girl so bad in the Vicky comments. I mean, it doesn't matter because there weren't a lot of comments because the series isn't finished. I'm being subbed on there. But she tried to make that dude out to be some kind of victim of Muse stupidity or something and selfishness. And I just sat there and was like, all right, yes, she made a mistake in the beginning with the ring because she didn't know he actually did buy a ring for her. But at the same time, this dude going to prank her when he decides to ask her to marry him? Or was it even a prank? Was it really a prank? Because it felt like not a prank to me when he bought her kitchenware and food to cook in that kitchenware and the anniversary. Like, what? If it's a prank, it's douchey. If it's not a prank, it's douchey. No. I don't care if he bought a ring too. It's douchey. It's like she's so she's a chef or something, or it's established that she loves to cook. If
sorry.
Even then, it'd still be a little questionable to get somebody for the anniversary, unless it's unless I was a chef, or I love and cooking is my hobby or something like that, and I really wanted this new crock pot that was coming out or something, and I've told you about it all the time. That is literally the only reason that you should get somebody some freaking cookware for an anniversary. That's it. Unless I've been hinting at it for 3 months or something.
Well, and what really gets me is that they had that whole conversation back in episode 1, Tanya and Rooted, where Tanya's like, I saw Gino coming out of the jewelry shop and he told me not to tell you, kind of thing. And I'm like, dude, if you know your girlfriend's homegirl saw you buying a ring, she's gonna see something, whether you ask her to or not. That information is going to come out.
That's true.
This guy just feels like he's, I don't know. He just feels like a shallow 5-year-old. There's no other way to explain it. He does not feel like a full-grown man who's capable of having decent, healthy relationships. He feels very immature.
I would think a lot of it, first of all, a lot of it had to do with the fact that this is clearly his first girlfriend. For both of them, it feels like it's their first for both of them. And it's also, for his point of view, from his side, he's also so extremely
passive aggressive.
Well, passive aggressive, yes, but I mean that he also has a huge inferiority complex and it's so raging. He spends it's just because he was always the kid when they were back in college and they were in the band. That he was in
Uh-huh.
that band or whatever, and he was the guy who like got the band their drinks kind of thing or whatever. Like he would write a song, but it wasn't quite as good as the other guys. Like, or he want to sing, be the lead singer, but clearly he's not as charismatic as the other dude. I ain't saying the other
Hmm.
dude was a better person or anything like that. The other dude was an asshole too. Like honestly, it was not any mystery to me that they were friends. But like it just was, he had such a huge raging inferiority complex. And it informs everything that he does when it comes to Rue. I feel like because he back, you know what it feels like to me? It feels like he thought I got Rue. Because he had a crush on her for so long, and she finally starts dating him. And he, in his mindset, it's like, ha, he won a prize. And so when it comes to the story starting, and they break up, and they really break up this time, and she starts seeing other men, he feels like he doesn't have her anymore. And it's like, I don't know why, but he decided to put all his self-worth or all of his feelings of being strong or whatever into the fact that he had Rue. And just, and it led up to this episode 11, where he decides to go ahead, confront her about being Sophia, or writing the column, the 12 men column, and dating all those dudes, and then slut shaming her like, whoa. Like, he pissed me off so much, man. But like, I think, but in this episode, he also, well, I guess he slut shames her in the beginning, and then like, and then it's like pisses me off too that he's so angry that she's seeing these other 12 men or whatever,
Yes.
or
Oh my God.
she has the, you know, the,
Sophia Column.
yeah, and then he's over on the other side seeing what's her face,
Hey, Ra.
Hera,
H-A.
Hera,
Yeah.
yeah. And like, I don't even know, like, I don't like that chick either. I still don't like her. I'm sorry. It's just,
Oh,
what?
I don't like her at all. She has done some nasty, like undermined,
She
like
was, she was, she
shade.
was,
She was casting shade. I mean, she was just
hmm
straight up casting shade all over me, Rue.
I mean, and it's like they set it up like you're supposed, I don't know. It's like in the beginning I thought maybe I would like her, but no, she just always felt like a child, which turned me off a
Yes.
little bit. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not attracted to childlike people. I'm not. Very rarely. Like, I think like the only time I've ever been that attracted to a childlike character was Flower Boy Next Door. But then he would have those
Hmm.
moments where he wasn't childlike, so I could see that he wasn't a child. Like he had
Hmm.
cutesy mannerisms, but his mindset was of an adult male. Whereas this chick, her feel like her mindset is like she's still 14. And so when she
Yeah.
starts going after Janelle, I'm like, and then that was shady too. Like, I don't even like Janelle, but it was shady how Hada basically coerced him into dating her. With,
Yep.
I was just like,
To further his
that's,
career and all that. Yep.
I was like, I don't even like this dude, but that's like, she's a, oh God. And then he can't say no because that's his boss and that's his job and he's going to get fired. And he's not in a position where he could get fired. Like, that's not who,
Hmm.
like, that's not who these people are. They aren't. I also like that, and a side note, I like that there's a few rich people, like super rich people, but generally everyone is like working class, or not really working class, but just, well, I guess that is right. like middle class or
Mhm.
like regular people who have to have jobs. They aren't super poor, like nobody has like, huge debt. But they aren't super rich. They're just people with jobs. But it means
Mhm.
that there's something at stake. So he can't just like it was very, very awkward watching him try to tiptoe around her and her uncle and her aunt or her mom and like try and keep his job but try and not date her and then end up dating her anyway. And it felt like so forced. I just, yeah. So,
Everything about that relationship really does, you're right. It feels very forced. It feels very like you can tell is not into her.
no.
He's just in it for the money and the prestige of having
Mhm.
a decent
Mhm.
job,
Mhm.
which I think is shady too.
That's shady from him too because
I mean,
in the
that's just
beginning it was coercive, but then around this time he's basically leading her on. Because
yeah.
at this time he's already said, "All right, we're dating," and if we think about the fact that this story takes place over about a year, so like a month will
Mhm.
go past in between an episode or 2 months. So I think at this time they have been dating for something like three months or something, 3 or 4 months, and so he has long since just regularly, just started to date her. And yeah, you're right. It's really obvious that he's in it for prestige,
Yeah.
money, advancement in his career. Yeah, their relationship is really distasteful. But this
It
is,
really is.
yeah, so he slut shames her and she's starting to get all psycho jealous. We starting to get
Hey,
more of that. I mean, we've
hey,
already
Raz, I
had.
hear. Are you talking about Miru or Hey, Raz getting all psycho jealous?
Here. Does
Yeah.
Miru
Okay.
even get psycho? I think.
I haven't seen her get
Yeah, she's
psycho, which is
never.
why I was just kind of clear.
Yeah, she definitely has never gotten
Oh,
jealous like
she
that.
did throw the cone. Throw the cone at the windshield.
Oh,
Whenever
well,
they had just broken, and he had Hera in the car with him, and they
yeah,
had only been broken up 10 days.
yeah.
Now
Oh,
for that
yeah.
one again, I don't.
This is also the aftermath of the meeting. You don't like the guy, the uncle guy.
I actually started to like him in this episode. Whenever I kind of LOL'd whenever we found out that he had ED because of all the stress and
Yeah.
the him him losing his wife and all that other kind of stuff. I'm
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh, I died LOLing whenever I found out that he had ED, and I know it's not nice to laugh at a guy who can't properly function, but that
They
that just
believe
that
it.
just made me actually like this character.
It's like the moment you find out that he has ED, and that the reason that he's being so as pervy as possible is that he's trying to find some way to cure his ED. So
Yeah.
just like, so he's just he's not that he like just like likes to have all these different kind of women. It's that he's trying to find like at least one woman that can make him get hard.
Yep.
I don't know. I just found him and Tanya's relationship hilarious. Like they have like a friendly, no strings attached sexual relationship.
I love that whole relationship as of this episode. Like
Yeah.
her in that Wonder Woman suit, and he's envisioning her talking to him one way, and on the other line she's like, fire all those SOBs and get them out of there. He's like, yes.
This is the inspiration I need. Like what in the world? I just found them really just like silly. They were silly.
Yeah,
It was
I
silly and
really,
charming.
yes. How did you like his response to her tattooing him in the meat man, the man meat wall?
Where he's like, he doesn't care about the wall. He just cares about his placement on the wall.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh, that
Thank
was.
you. Yeah. Because they have that kind of casual relationship
Yeah.
where they know their own boundaries in that relationship.
Yeah.
I think that's what I like about them, is that they have clearly discussed
Mhm.
the relationship that they are going to have, that they want to have, and they're both respecting those boundaries within that relationship, or within that
Although I
agreement.
kind of feel like he stepped over that line though whenever he paid her rent. Like that
Yeah,
I felt like he kind of infringed on her boundaries.
yeah, that was also one of those things where I was just like, mm. But they do talk about it, and she does talk to him about it. So, like, I'm glad that they didn't have that, go on for 3 episodes and her find out and it be all dramatic. Like, she finds
Yes.
out, like, the next day when her landlord comes by. And so she goes and talks to him, and she's like, all right, I need to pay you back because I don't like owing people, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they work out an arrangement where every time he calls, it gets shaves off some of it. But yeah, I agree. I think that was probably the one point where it was just like, nah, man, don't do that. Don't do that. Especially when
The people in this drama are so relatable. They're like real people. They're not like made up written people. They're like real people to me.
Mm-hmm. Even somehow the people that only show up maybe 1 or 2 episodes still feel grounded in reality. If that makes sense.
It
Like
does.
the professor guy who was it back in episode 2 or whatever. Like you knew that he had a life outside. You didn't necessarily need to see it. Like you know that he's a professor because he told you he's a professor. So you already immediately imagine him in a lecture room or a lecture hall giving, whatever, talking to students and stuff. And then you see his friends a couple of times, like 2 times or 3 times. And like, so you know that he has some kind of other social life outside of it. But you didn't need to spend like 5 episodes getting to know him in order to feel like he was a real person. Now, whether he's a good person, I think it's debatable. Which is, I guess, the same for all the characters. Like, they're very real, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're all like quote unquote good people, whatever that means.
No. It shows the faultiness, I guess. What am I trying to say? It shows human error. It shows that you can be a good person but still have bad qualities.
Yeah.
That's very human.
Yeah. Like, I still don't think the professor's necessarily a bad person. He just doesn't handle things well. Like you said, like they have bad qualities.
Exactly.
His was he didn't handle us. I love you well. I love you after 3 dates and 1 night of sex. I was like, there must have been some good digging. Goddamn. I'm sorry, listeners. What kind of sex was that? That you just was like, I love you right afterwards?
It must have vibrated or something.
Yeah. It must have been the most amazing night she ever had. Jesus. Then again, her only other experience was with Janelle. So I'm not even going to sit here and pretend like it couldn't have been her best, the best experience she's had. As I tell you, That was hilarious though. I was laughing and cringing at the same time. I was like, girl, no, why? That's back in episode like 2 or 3. So not having anything to do with this episode. What happened in the quote unquote big reveal.
Oh my God, that's Sophia.
Sophia being Ryder Lee.
Oh my God.
I guess that like
Him face planting was like the best thing I saw in a long time. I died. Like he didn't even fall gracefully. He fell like a tree.
He broke his heel and went down the stairs. Okay, just in case you haven't watched the episode, viewers. Basically, whatever. She's trying to find Sophia because she doesn't want to write the column anymore, and she goes to Ryder Lee's house to ask him to bring his little sister around. And so they meet up, or while she's over there, she also steals his manuscript. So he's meeting her to get it back, and he snatches he snatches her purse and tries to run away. And like dressed up as Sophia, and like, oh God, and then he just tripped down the stick. God, that was funny. And then he's like, boom. And like all his wig came off. Like the whole restaurant was looking to the side, like, what in the world? It was good. But it wasn't a big reveal, because I pretty much knew that if he was Sophia the moment that she knocked on his door and he opened it. And he was the one that was inside. And he was also a writer. I mean, it's not unheard of for siblings to both have the same career, obviously. But in K-drama land, that means that you're probably the same person. If the other person is, nobody has seen their face. Like, you don't know who that is or whatever. Or they're anonymous. Like, nah, there's.
I'm surprised that she didn't figure out that was a man, like way back when, because if you look at the person's hands.
Yeah, he's got man hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very masculine hands. I'm not saying that there are not women that don't have masculine hands, and I'm not saying that there aren't, all these other kinds of things going on. But in K-drama land, it's safe to assume that whenever a person has masculine hands, it's a man.
A man. And then I don't know how you could be next to him. Like, I guess maybe she assumed that his sister was the exact same height as him. Because she's met him as Sophia and she's met him as himself, and it's like they have the same height and body shape.
Maybe she assumed they were twins. I don't even know, but there would have been a lot of warning bells for me personally.
Like, there were so many clues, just so many. Like, the fact that you were like that she never shows her face. She's walking around looking like Carmen Sandiego or something in this hat, scarf. like, so extreme to stay anonymous. What in the world? It just, the whole setup felt shady, and like the fact that she didn't find it in any way suspicious was just. I think that was the biggest suspension of disbelief I had to make for this show.
Rue's clothes were really nice in this episode. The part where she is arguing with the boss on the roof. The boss had asked her to go meet up with the guy that Tanya is with, the creepy older guy.
Yeah.
And that outfit was so cute. Like, that was the best I think she looked in this entire drama, with the feather earrings. I mean, she looked really, really cute. I mean, it was a great outfit. And that was the one I actually took notes on episode 11. That was one of the things that I put down. I said, she had the best outfit.
Okay. I just scrolled to find it. Yeah, that's a cute coat. Yeah, it's nice color balance going on. Her hair is like not weird looking. Like, I don't really hate her hair. I just sometimes the way they style it is unflattering. Like I like short hair,
Uh-huh.
um, but I think they didn't quite know how to style short
Yeah.
hair.
Whenever she was in her rocker girl gear with the fishnet stockings, her hair looked actually one of the best there.
Right? Yeah, I wanted her to keep that hairstyle.
Yeah.
Well, and just like, just like every now and then throw some mousse or something through your hair or whatever, some gel.
Uh,
Cause she looked, yeah, you're right. That was probably the best her hair looked. Um, she just has a really round face, which is nothing wrong with it. But if she has a bowl cut going on, it like makes her whole head look more round.
yeah, kind of like a bowling ball.
Yeah. So she has to like swoop her hair a little or something if
I
she wants to
did
do
like
that shortcut.
I did like it towards the end of this episode when she and Jun got together and he talked about how um, as a man writer he can't get into a woman's head,
Mm-hmm.
and that was really like that was a very interesting conversation for me because
Yeah.
it really showed how, first of all, these two characters meshed well together because she was like, well, you know, I'm not going to delve too much because it kind of carries over in episode 13, but
Mm-hmm.
he was like, as a man, I can only write so far because they were sitting there eating that sweet and sour pork, and
Yeah, that's
like,
right.
how'd you like my manuscript? And she was like, it was good, but. And then she listed. She's like, you could definitely tell that a man was writing it, and that was just a very
Yeah.
deep conversation. I think considering how everything else has been kind of slapstick. There's been some serious stuff like that whole mess that happened with Alex, the gym trainer, back in like 4,
Yeah.
where he was basically a psycho. But
Yeah.
everything pretty much been you know almost slapstick. Even the serious stuff has had a comedic edge to it. So to
Yes.
have that conversation happen was really interesting for me.
Mm-hmm. And it also allows you to watch as they get in, as he's able to get inside her head and understand how she
Mm-hmm.
thinks, because she starts to, like you said, she starts to help him understand what it means to be a woman, which he's been attempting for a long time now, as under the guise of Sophia,
Mm-hmm.
is attempting to get into the mindset of a woman, and then dressing up and cross dressing and stuff when he goes out. But it's not. I'm not going to say it's not quite enough, but he's approaching it in a way that it's not enough. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's great to see, like you said, it's great to see him asking her advice as a woman, what she's feeling,
Mm-hmm.
and getting to know her and getting to know his audience, because he writes towards a female audience, and watching him get to know his audience through her. But
It's
in
not
yet,
something.
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. I thought you were finished. Sorry,
I was
didn't mean
gonna
to
say,
interrupt.
but
Go
it
ahead.
also allows him the opportunity to get to know her herself, like
Mm-hmm.
outside of that, and you get to know what she's feeling. Like I think that's later on in a couple episodes anyway, that he really starts asking questions that are much more personal and considering what she's thinking, like her and her relationships and why she's doing the things that she does. Starts
I find it
puzzling her out.
interesting that you don't oftentimes see a man in a K-drama trying to figure out a woman's mind or while he gets to know her like that. And that
Mhm.
was another thing that was really, you know, amazing about this one. There's so many molds that this drama, in my opinion, breaks
Mhm.
because you don't oftentimes see a man trying to get into the woman's head and trying to find out who she is, before he gets feelings for her or
Falls
before
for her.
they, yeah.
Mhm. Like that is the basis of you starting to like her, is because you you guys collaborated on writing his book, him as the writer, her as the editor. It's like they collaborated on that. And as he writes the book, as he writes, the character, as he helps her with the, Sophia column stuff, he becomes a sounding board, I think, eventually. Like where she's talking about her feelings and stuff to him, and he doesn't necessarily comment on them that much, but at most he listens, and then he'll like say one thing or two things about it, and it'll be something that makes her think, or it won't. It'll just be, she'll just continue to think about it, just continue to talk. But that's clearly the basis of, their feelings. Not like, oh, they saw each other across the room and they fell in love because of some arbitrary reason that we don't know. Or, some cliche reason like she was the prettiest girl in the room, or like even she's the first person that ever sassed me or whatever, basically. Like they clearly start liking each other, or their relationship at least starts and progresses forward because of
It
their
starts on an
conversation.
intellectual level.
Yeah.
Definitely starts on an intellectual level.
Yeah. And so, as the episode, well, I guess we're more into episode 12 and 13 at this point. But anyway, just to let you know, this is the next couple episodes. They start talking more, and you can see, this is where their relationship started. With conversations, honest conversations with each other. But I guess for this one, it's just the beginning of it.
Do you want to just keep talking about it, but do you want to just do all the episodes now, or do you want? I mean, we can keep talking, or we can.
I mean, honestly, I'm. The only thing else that happens in episode 11 is that we meet the magician, who is,
yes,
what is his sign?
Oh my God, I put this on the dash earlier. I said it kind of irritates me that whenever the magician, whenever in the end of episode 11, whenever Hera meets him, it says that he's a Libra.
Mm-hmm.
But then whenever he sits down on the plane next to her in episode 12, he says he's a Virgo. And let me tell you, his whole mind reading thing was just creepy. Like.
They never explain that. Like, is he really telepathic? Is this a little bit of magic going on in his story?
I don't know, but I find it creepy. Like, I find everything about that man creepy. There's just something about him that just does not
well, I think it's because his motives are hidden. I didn't necessarily find him creepy, but I found him hard to understand. Like, yes. I didn't understand his motivations for anything. Like he's not in love with Rue or whatever. He's not interested in Rue as a girlfriend or as a boyfriend. Like he's not romantically interested in Rue. He's not romantically interested in Hera. He's just meddling.
Yep.
He it's like it feels like he wants to meddle in whatever. I mean, not that he volunteers to meddle. Like clearly Hera in the end of this episode is the one that comes to him and asks him to, do this, that, or the other. But he didn't have to. Honestly, it's not like she had something on him. Like, he just did it, and I can't figure out why, except that he wanted to, found it interesting, thought it'd be fun, was curious.
I think he did it for the money because she did pay him.
Well, she did too, but like it didn't feel like he was hard up for the money. Like I didn't think that the story expressly showed that he was hard up enough for the money to do something that would be against what his moral code. So it ended up feeling like his moral code is looser than say anyone else's. Maybe because he's a magician, maybe because he apparently can read people's minds, but he feels like he somehow, it felt like he felt entitled to just be all up in other people's business, which I don't know. I didn't hate him, but Yeah, right. He's kind of annoying because he didn't have any clear reasons for it. He just did it just cause. Just cause. I'm just gonna be all up in their business.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the magician guy. You know what? And I swear to God, I spent this entire time with the magician feeling like he was, what's his name? Drew Duck Wan's like little brother or something. I don't know. He just reminded me of him so much. The shortness, this haircut looked like Drew Duck Wan's haircut when he was in God's Quiz, the first and second season of God's Quiz, and like his voice sounds like Drew Duck Wan's, and I was just sitting here like, oh man, I'm trying to imagine what it would be like if Drew Duck Wan had actually done this character, instead. But it's for the viewers, in case you don't know who Judok Wan is, he was in the story God's Quiz, which is actually my favorite role of his. But he was also in Faith, or The Great Doctor, and he was the king who played. Um, he was the king's character in that story. Most people, if you only watch like trendy K dramas, most people know him from that. But he just, man, I just couldn't get over it. So it made me want to like him. I don't know why, because I really like Rudolph Wan, even though he was doing like kind of creepy and shady stuff. But yeah, I guess we can talk about both of the episodes, all three of the episodes, if you want.
He stole her bag. That was just.
Yes, he did.
And
And
FedEx the information to
oh man,
Hera.
that's just, yeah, that was just, man. Come on, man, come on. Like in the beginning, I mean, before you know that before he sends the diary to Hera, I thought at first that it might have been an accident, the bag
Mm-hmm.
switch,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe he kept the diary because he wanted to see her again, and he knew that she would come looking for the diary or something. And so, like, I was like trying to figure out if maybe that was his motivation for this was, oh, he actually does like her, or he's like, is a little bit interested in her, not necessarily super interested, but enough that, oh, I accidentally got her bag. Well, I'll go ahead and keep one thing so that she has to call me and get in contact with me. And then they meet up outside the airport, and I was like, oh, maybe I'm right. And then, he invites her to his show and everything like that. He makes her part of the show and everything. And it was like your classic, oh, maybe he actually does like her, but then nope. And then nope, he FedExes the diary over to Hera, and I was like, oh, never mind. He just stole her crap and informed on her to the
I
enemy.
could not get that whole scene where she was locked in the glass box and she was like revisiting that whole breakup scene. Like I don't quite understand what was going on there.
What you mean metaphorically, or you mean the fact that apparently this dude is a magician? He's able to let this girl go back to the past.
A little bit of both, to be honest with you.
This is the one thing, like, they never explain this dude and how is he able to read people's minds, like, to the letter of what you're thinking, not like a vague, oh, like, he doesn't make vague guesses. He literally hits the nail on the head for all of them, like, word for word kind of thing. Or something like that, or like, and then they go, like you said, they go into the trick room, and it's like a white room, and I'm like, is underneath the stage a room that's white? Like, what's going on here?
And how did Jino get there with cake on his face?
Right? Like, is she imagining this? Maybe we're supposed to assume that this is her imagination. That, the box is a little bit like one of those sensory deprivation tank things. The only
Yeah.
thing that's missing is like the water thing. But those are supposed to help you get in touch with your like your subconscious and your thoughts because you don't have anything else um, distracting your mind. So
That is a good,
maybe that's what was going on there.
very good point, Raven.
Yeah. And that was like her subconscious because I think that was the point, that was the purpose for her and for Gion Gino. Why do I keep
You
saying
know,
Gion? Gino when he went in later, that they're supposed to be trying to find out their deepest thoughts and their what they really feel, and they're trying to reach their subconscious. So maybe that was what the tank is supposed to do. Like he uses suggestive words or suggestive sentences to get you in the mindset of thinking about something, and then he puts you in the little tank or in the space underneath the tank, whatever. And you have, for the time you spend in there, you're already like maybe a little bit of hypnotism. Maybe that was it. A little bit of hypnotism going on there. It could have been more specific though with his story or his method.
can we talk about how cute Tanya was getting anaphylaxis from that whole scene with
Oh my god.
Risa?
All right, okay, yeah, all right. At this point, in case you haven't watched, viewers, Tanya and the barista. I don't even know what his real name is. What is it? Hyunwoo? Nah. Is he
I don't
Hyunwoo?
even.
Whatever. The barista. The barista kid who's like 26 or something. And the two ladies are in like their early 30s. But she has sex with the barista guy because he breaks up with his girlfriend and he's on mopey for like, 2-3 weeks or something like that. And so they hook up. He gets drunk. They both, start drinking and hanging out alone in her apartment, and then they have sex. And he's like, I like so in love with her right after another person who just fell in love after one night of sex. And she's
Hey,
all,
we already established that Tanya's got a magic kuka.
yeah, she has 24 men volunteered to have her tattoo her mark on their bodies. I just, what kind of game you running that 24 grown men said it's okay for you to tattoo a flowery or like a very super feminine butterfly, like with curly cues and everything like that on their body, permanently etched into their skin. Blatant, she tells them that it's to signify that they will always be hers. She's literally tatting up these men with her own personal mark. Just, so anyway, so he gets a little bit of it too, and he falls head over heels because he's sweet and a baby. He's adorable. So when they go to wherever they are, I can't remember where they are. For this hotel vacation resort thing, a little contrived, but whatever. He goes with them. The barista guy kid goes with them, and they spend the time on the beach. And he loves peanuts, butter and peanuts, and she's allergic. And so he's telling her this entire time that he loves her, and that he wants to be with her. He wants them to be like exclusive, monogamous, that kind of thing. And she's all, what the what? No. And so she's like, because she doesn't believe in love, or rather, she doesn't easily believe in love because she thinks people betray each other. So she's like, prove it. Walk into this ocean, and then he does, and he almost drowns, and she gives him CPR, but he's just had like peanut butter sandwiches, so she goes in anaphylactic shock and has to be taken to the hospital. Jesus. Oh goodness. It's like, how did you not think about that, man? Like, you want to be with this girl, and you notice she's allergic to peanuts, but you still make yourself a peanut butter sandwich. Like, you weren't planning on kissing her today, huh? Like, is that what happened? Uh, and everybody knows that peanut allergies is one of those allergies that's like deathly. Like, it can be. I don't know. I've never actually looked into it, but I'm sure that there's some variation that's not as deathly. But in general, they're usually deathly, right?
It is. It takes.
And like yeah. So the fact that that's like such a widely known deathly allergy, and the fact that he still decides to eat peanut butter sandwiches is just like one of those indications that I still feel like he's a little bit too young to really be in a relationship with her. It's like, come on, man, come on. And then the fact that he was just so deeply in love with her after one night. So I guess,
Oh,
admittedly, hey, you back?
yeah, I am.
I just
Sorry.
kept talking. It's cool. But
I was
it's
going to
just.
tell you the.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead. I was going to tell you the statistics. It's like 9 1/100ths of a % of the amount of peanuts that you would need. It's like just some people are so allergic to it that you can't even like have peanut butter in the house because just it being in the air can cause an anaphylactic shock.
Yeah, yeah. So, and it's widely known. That's why it's the most used. Anyway, it's even the most used allergy in media is peanut butter or peanut allergy. That and like shellfish are like the two. I
Uh-huh.
think the two most used allergies, go-to allergies in a story for a character to have.
This is the third drama I've watched this week, and I'm telling on myself about how many dramas I watch. But this is the third drama this week that's had someone get kissed and go into anaphylactic shock from a peanut butter kiss.
Really? Wow. What were the other ones?
Yeah. Zenki Girl
Oh, yeah.
was one of them.
Zenheimer? Yeah.
Yeah, the two little kids kissed. The little girl kissed the little boy, and he had just had peanut butter. And then the third one was, oh God, what was it? I think it was out of Thailand. I can't pronounce the name. I can't even really remember the name because I turned it off because it was so terrible.
Mm.
But yeah, this is the third
Did the
drama I
same
watched this
thing.
week that had peanut butter kiss anaphylactic shock.
Oh, wow. That's funny. That's pretty damn coincidental because, like, it's not that it's not uncommon to have that allergy, but it is. Well, I guess that trope is not necessarily uncommon either. But yeah, but anyway, I was just saying when you had to log off for a bit, I was just saying that I think it's the fact that he didn't think about that and put caution into his thoughts, but he's running around going, "I love you, I want to be with
Mm-hmm.
you forever," kind of deal that he's going at. It felt like he's too young.
Yep.
He
He
doesn't,
wouldn't even get the tattoo.
he's just too young. He's too young.
He,
I'm not saying that
uh,
later it wouldn't work out, but right now he's too young. He doesn't really understand his own feelings. He's clearly on the rebound. Yeah, he's
Agreed.
cute. He's cute and he's sweet.
The only thing that cute and sweet rebound guys are for is just rebound. You
Yeah,
know, wham bam, thank you, ma'am. In my opinion, that's just my opinion.
yeah,
But I don't think that someone who's on the rebound and who is immature for a relationship when you're older is good for a relationship.
yeah.
I
No.
mean, this is just my opinion. I mean, that would be like me dating someone. I'm almost 29. That'd be like me dating someone who's like 20. I guess in the United States, I guess an immature person would be like 18 or 19 because that's the kind of like maturity level that I kind of feel off of him. I feel
Yeah.
like he's kind of like still in that high school mentality. That would
Hmm.
be like me dating a 19-year-old
Yeah.
who's clearly not going to be anything more than a one night stand, because A, that is kind of, in my opinion, creepy. That, I mean, I personally wouldn't go that young because I think it's kind of creepy because I'm so much older than that person. But also, that person and I are in two totally different areas of our lives.
Hmm.
Now, at my age, I'm kind of getting out of that whole immaturity level, out of that whole, I'm more geared towards looking. My worldview is different than theirs would be. I guess
Hmm.
that's what I'm trying to say.
Hmm.
And I think that Tanya knows that because she is older, but the younger kid, the barista guy, I think his name's Quan, Juquan or Wukon or something like that. I just saw it on the screen. It was one of those. And he doesn't see it that way because he's not mature enough to grasp that concept yet.
Hmm. And I think also he he I mean he just like other than even just he just broke up. He's it I think it was also a bit of a mistake that they knew that for her to try and make him one of her butterflies when they knew each other. Even having the one night stand, it's complicated if you try to have a one night stand with somebody you have previously been friends with
Yeah.
or had a relationship where you were clearly friends or acquaintances and you know that you're going to continue to have that kind of friendship relationship afterwards. Now, sometimes that's fine. It's totally cool. Like, you could be like a friends with benefits kind of thing, which I think Tanya was hoping for. But he's not that kind of person. And I was like, girl, you should have known the moment you saw him weeping over his ex-girlfriend and been depressed over his ex-girlfriend that he is not that type of person who you can just be like, all right, we just gonna bang, but it doesn't mean, well, it doesn't mean anything, but it doesn't mean anything more than our desires right now. And but it put her in this awkward phase where it's her usual for her butterflies to have a dude, find a dude, whatever. They get it on however long she wants, however long they both want. Like whether it's they get it on one night or maybe they get it on for 3 weeks. Or maybe they get it on and off, like for over a period of several months. But it's clearly something that's temporary. And then they leave, and then she sends them off into the world. And, she's totally cool if they come back. She's totally cool if she never sees them again. But for, what is his name? Kangwoo, you said?
Yeah, something like that. It's Quan something, Kwon, and then there's another name with it. I just saw it. I'm in the kitchen right now, so
Oh,
I'm
no,
not in
it's
front of
cool.
the computer.
Yeah, but like, he, he was, he was somebody that she's known before, has a friendly relationship with him, they bang, he's going through some kind of emotional stress. They bang.
Mm-hmm.
And she knows that she's going to see him later. And like and he also like moves his attachment to her. So it was like, girl, this is probably not a good idea. I know that he's cute and you are a very sexual woman, so if somebody's cute and they're interested, even slightly interested in her, she's gonna go for it because she has that kind of active sexual drive.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, girl, you didn't think this one through because he was clearly the type to get caught up. He's clearly that type. And I don't know. I don't know. It's a very interesting relationship. It's like I like them together, but I don't like them together. Like I like what he's doing for her emotionally,
Mm-hmm.
but he's a little bit needy, or a lot of it needy actually. So he's too needy too fast. He's enough for like a 2 year relationship, not a 2 week one. So it's like I like the relationship emotionally, like what it's doing. Like when they get to the beach and she's really opening up
Mhm.
about her heart in ways she hasn't even opened up with Rue with. So she's really letting him in, but he's also pressuring her,
Yeah.
which I didn't like. So yeah, so I'm torn about the relationship. Yeah. What is it? Yeah, what else happened in episode 12?
What do you think about Hera spying on her in the stairwell? I think I'm reverting back to episode 11, but
Was that 11?
I think so.
Oh,
Hera spied on Rue in the stairwell. You can start to see Hera, especially like it starts in episode 11. It gets
yeah.
worse in 12, and by episode 13, we seriously want to just like smack her in the face.
Oh man, yeah, I do remember it. And she was all, yeah, she's just generally creepy. I like, cause clearly, what's his face, Jeno is her first boyfriend. Cause
Hmm.
she was like, what did they say? She was fat and and dissatisfied with her
Unattractive.
fatness. Like, I mean, you can be fat and not care, but like, or you can be fat and totally love it. But like, she clearly was not okay with it. So she goes to wherever and gets all of the plastic surgery and then comes back. So she's feeling, you know, she's feeling, I don't want to say inadequate, but she has a lot of self-esteem issues, clearly. So Jino being her first boyfriend, who she manipulated into being her boyfriend, as we've previously talked about, was creepy as fuck. And so she's being more and more possessive as time goes on. Like, who's he talking to? Because she's, yeah.
You have to tell me you love me before I ask every day.
Yeah, right? Like,
I was like, get the heck out of here, girl. Go
I
on.
God, no. First of all, you've only been dating for like 4 months. Why are you trying to? It's like it's clearly her first boyfriend, and she's in her mid 20s, and like she's never had any kind of romantic entanglement before that. So I think she's like rushing. She wants to get through all of it. She wants to get to the point where they're madly in love, like they are in movies or something. That's what it feels like to me. Like, and she wants to skip all that stuff in between.
Let's get married. Oh my God.
Oh goodness, God, God, and he's just standing there like it's like in the beginning I felt bad for Janelle, but the longer he stayed with her and just kept playing into her games, I felt less and less bad for him.
Hmm.
Cause it's like in this time, first of all, you know that her mom doesn't even like y'all dating. If you break up with her, I think your job would be safe at this point. Or you could go ahead and transfer out, and they'd totally be okay with you transferring to a different hotel, trying to put some distance. But he's not doing any of that. He's not setting boundaries. He's actually reinforcing her obsession. She's obsessed.
Yep.
And then on the side, still trying to control Rue. God, trying to tell her whether or not she can see other people, and
He honestly makes me irrationally angry.
yeah, it's rationally angry. I mean, it's really obvious why you would be angry at this dude.
Like I'm not an angry person, but like there are just some characters that whenever they come on screen, they piss me off so badly that it's just like,
Yeah,
oh, I just want to reach through the screen and like smack you in your head just like with a brick a couple times.
yeah. Ugh. so cowardly and indecisive with Hera, and then a douchebag with Rue, and it's
Yep.
just like, oh. And then he's like, doesn't, well, I don't know if he doesn't know his own feelings, but he's not acknowledging it.
He's still totally in love with Rue. You could tell in episode 13 whenever
Yeah,
he drops her off and he drives
yeah.
away and he's got tears in his eyes and excuse me, I just got a mouthful of food. And he drives away and he's got tears in his eyes and oh god, what's her name? Tanya's like, what the hell is this situation? I
Hmm.
love how she kind of says everything that at least everything that I'm thinking about the scene. It usually comes out of Tanya's mouth. It's like she's in
Mouth.
it. It's like she's like the women viewers. Like
Yeah,
whenever she told I'm okay that you dated my friend, but everything you did or how you broke up with her was crap or something like that. Maybe she said that
yeah.
to the psychologist. She said that to somebody, and I was like, God,
It was to
that's
the
exactly what
professor
I'm
guy,
thinking. Yeah, you're
the
right.
physics professor guy.
You're right.
Yeah, yeah. She does say everything that you'd imagine us to say. It's, yeah, God. I'm watching a little clip of the episode with the dude and his face. God, he's such a beautiful man. Look, I like the actor who plays Jino.
Mm-hmm.
Onjuan is the actor's name, and I always remember him. The first thing I ever saw him in was My Mighty Princess with Shimina, and I really, really, really love that movie. I love that movie. I love his character. So like whenever I see his face, I think about him and Shin Min-ah and how much I enjoyed that movie. And so seeing him in this one be such a frustrating dick, just like ugh. But you're right. He plays it well. And he plays it in a way that's realistic, where I don't like him, but I don't like him in a way that I wouldn't like a real person. Like, you had that one group person in the group that you hang out with them, but you don't really like them because it's a group setting, and maybe you have mutual friends, so you see each other at parties, but you really just
Mm-hmm.
don't like them. Like that's what it feels like with me and Jenna. It was like ugh, we have mutual friends, so we see each other, but I don't like you. Like, and I tell you, it's a testament to some and him as an actor. That he's able to put, because I understand his feelings. Like, I may not like the decisions he makes based off those feelings, but I understand where he's coming from or the reasons that he makes them. So I think that level of understanding a lot of it can be attributed to the actor who I like because he does give him quite a bit of pathos. So like I don't like him for how he treats Rue, but I also feel bad for how Haida is like manipulating him. Then
Mm-hmm.
I still dislike him for not being straight with Hera. Like it's like weird. It's complicated feelings. Anyway, that's it. I have complicated feelings about him.
How do you feel about Miru's parents' divorce?
Are we going to past episode 13? Was that 13?
She sent him the papers in episode 12.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm not mad about that. Honestly, he was cheating, like blatantly cheating, and then lying to their faces, and then lying when he gets caught. Like his daughter watched him with the other chick in the mall, buying her clothes, all this craziness, and confronts him about it. And he lies to her face, or he doesn't even quite lie. He just tries to pretend like it's something different, or God. So the divorce thing, definitely not a problem for me. I totally enjoy if they just got divorced. Not every marriage has to be together. Just
I
just
agree.
because they've been together for so long and they had a kid together. What? No.
And she wants to get with that dance instructor though.
Oh man, yeah.
What her watching him dance, you knew she was just like,
She and you can tell the dance instructor knows it. Like he knows it. He's like
yeah.
being. I feel like he's being extra seductive around her.
Mhm.
Like when he was dancing around her body and he was
Mhm.
doing all those spins and stuff, and she looked like she was getting whiplash. Like, she was
She
just
was like
standing there
her
like,
body
oh
was ready. She was like, I am so ready.
my God. Oh man, yeah, the dance instructor definitely knows. You can't convince me otherwise. Yeah, I don't know what I thought about their relationship. I liked it. It had that, what's that movie called? Oh my God, it's the Japanese movie. Oh, I'm gonna look that up.
Dance with me?
Dance with Me. Was it Dance with Me?
I think I know what you're talking about. It was in America. It was remade to an American movie.
Shall We
But
Dance? Yeah, it was
yes.
remade into an American one. Shall We Dance? And like it had that whole feel, that whole storyline with the dance instructor and the woman wanting to be liberated by the dancing instructor. Felt like Shall We Dance, but opposite. With a male dance instructor and a female student rather than a female dance instructor and a male student. And like, and then but yeah, like I said, it felt like that kind of vibe, but slightly different. But they had a Japanese drama that was similar. It wasn't that good. It was a Yamapi. Um, what was it called? Arashi no Yoni, I think is the name. Sorewa Totuzen Arashi no Yoni. I guess it translates to it was it happened suddenly like a storm, I guess. It was sudden like a storm. Oh yeah, that's how they translate it. And like that story was about this woman who's married, been married for a long time, and she's just feeling dissatisfied in her life. And so she meets this young, I don't know how old he is, like 19. Technically, he's still in high school, but I think he's like graduating in like a month. And so he's about like 18 or 19, and he's also a dance instructor. And he used to be like a national ballroom dancer. And she starts taking lessons with him and becomes more liberated as she takes her dance lessons with him and starts preparing to enter into a competition and everything. It felt very much like that. But I don't
I
know.
just
Yeah, go ahead.
sorry, I just got to the end of episode 13 where Hera leaned out because I'm reviewing as I'm kind of fast forwarding and reviewing as we go so that I can remember, what
Exactly
happens.
what happened. Hmm.
And Hera just leaned over Miru and said, "I'm getting married to the person you love most in the world, and it's soon." And I'm like, "Oh my God, he just is.
Yeah,
He's just doing that kind of stuff to hurt her."
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
God,
And
why would you put thing like that on another woman just to be trifling?
yeah,
Oh
she's a
my God.
sociopath. And like
She
people,
really is.
yeah, she thinks of as a possession, as a thing to have. And
Hmm.
it's like she has this huge imagination that Gino, well, I mean, obviously Gino is still in love with Rue. But there really is nothing going on with them because Rue, they may still be in love with each other, but love is not always enough. Which I think this chick is also too young to understand that being in love does not necessarily
Agreed.
mean that your relationship is going to work. Um, and this is I think that's their story with between Rue and Janelle was that they love each other. They might even love each other really deeply. They're their first loves. They probably love each other for the rest of their lives. But love is not enough for their relationship, and that's why they broke up. And so she doesn't get that. God, and she's like, and then she's a sociopath who doesn't mind hurting other people and like watching how they react. Like she's so psycho with that. Like manipulating Gino and like she knows all about him and Rue, but she's sitting there asking him questions and like watching his reaction and like deliberately having him pick her up when she knows that her boss is his ex-girlfriend, and so like having them get in a car and then like pretending to be innocent but actually watching their reactions to everything, and like she's a psycho.
She really is.
But in a realistic way, if that makes sense. I don't know. I never felt like, I mean, she did a lot of extra. She was doing a lot. But I can honestly say I have met people like her.
Me too. At least she didn't try to bury her alive. So,
True.
you know,
Tis true.
she's
true.
She's like she's like that realistic mean girl.
Yeah. So like you know that it's embedded in jealousy and insecurity and low self-esteem from all of her teenage angst trauma. And it's bleeding up into now. And she can tell that he's still in love with Rue.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of those things and her inadequacy, feelings of inadequacy, are combining to do this malicious craziness. Like she knows that it's gonna hurt her, and she's like, "We're getting married, but it's a secret. I'm only telling you because we're good friends." And you're just like, God, so fake. She's psycho. And then like manipulating the magician.
Yep.
Into talking, like you taking her boyfriend there, and she knows that she's already paid off the magician to say what she wants.
Yep.
And the magician's like, even the magician was kind of creeped out by her. Remember when she asked him to find out whether who her boyfriend has in his heart, and she's got the little crazy eyes going on, and the magician is sitting there looking at her like, this is not gonna work, you know. Like, see, I think maybe you should just ask him. Like, he's trying to delicately tell her, like, stop being crazy. Basically, doesn't work. The magician was kind of creeped out.
He was.
Which is again another one of those things where he's probably the only character that I couldn't understand really. Like because he's clearly creeped out by her. He's like half of him clearly doesn't want to do any of this, but then some of him feels like he's enjoying it. It's like
psychopathic.
Yeah, he's a little bit, yeah. But I think he's not a malicious sociopath. Like, if that makes sense. Like, because you can have that kind of detachment from your emotions and the emotions of others.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't necessarily have any kind of maliciousness about you. Like, I think he just enjoys having people in his sway.
Agreed.
Knowing more than others and having them say, you're amazing. Whereas Hera enjoys having people in her sway in a controlling, manipulative way. Meaning she enjoys people doing whatever she says. And she will get you to do whatever she says, however she can. I think that's probably like the biggest difference between their equal brands of emotional dissonance. But still, they're both kind of creepy. God, I just skipped to a part in the episode where you see Hada's crazy eyes. Like, jeez. Yes, at the end of the episode, you see the magician putting Jeno in the box so he can discover his true feelings. And of course, he goes back to, what is it, the scene where she finds out, Rue found out that he had helped the rocker guy, the indie rocker guy, to lie to her about going to, where did he go? Where did they say he went?
I can't remember. He went somewhere overseas.
Yeah. And like, and that, you know, write that little stupid fake love letter about how he loves her, but he can't be with her, and he left the country and all that stuff. And so earlier, like several episodes ago, she finds out that he was part of that he's the one who wrote all those letters and interfered in her dating. And then they had the argument on the bench, and she's like, why are you even doing this? Like, what is the point? You're not dating. Like, is it pride? I was just like standing there like, yes, it's his pride. He's jealous, and it's his pride. And he thinks he owns you because you're his ex-girlfriend. And he also cares about her. I'm not saying he doesn't care about her. I'm just saying that like 80% of it was his pride.
We're starting to branch into episode 14.
Yeah, but yeah, so like at the end of 13, he goes into the box and he sees that moment. And instead of just sitting there, he relives it so that he actually finally just says, because I cared about you, because I wanted to protect you, because I still love you. And so he comes out of the little deprivation tank having experienced that. The only thing, okay, one thing, I'm watching it again. One thing that made me curious about this deprivation tank, this thing was like the most confusing part of the series. This dude and his magic. Do they say all of this stuff out loud? Do people hear this?
Like, I don't think so. Like, they showed her knocking on the tank, like back whenever she was in it, but you don't see anything. Like, you don't hear or see them saying any of that. Because remember, Rue, whenever she came back from wherever she was at, Rue was just sitting on the floor of the tank.
Yeah. But like, my only thing is that, what is the point in saying go back to your most painful memory or whatever the hell, and they just disappear and then they come back and you don't see whether or not they went back to their most painful memory? Like, are the people cheering for their sober faces? Like, and then they do a close-up shot of Hera's face and she looks psycho and angry. So it made me feel like they heard whatever was going on in the tank or whatever they were saying. Like, when they're reliving these memories, they're talking out loud or something, and that the audience can hear it. And that would be messed up.
Yes.
Because otherwise, why does she have this psycho angry face? How in the world does she know what he was thinking, that he wasn't thinking about her, that he was thinking about the other girl? With that, like, because she has that face that's like, he's thinking about her. Let me go and fuck shit up. Like, that's her face. I feel like capping it, putting on her vlogs, so people can understand how she looks crazy. It's like, I'm gonna get revenge for this perceived insult. Because like otherwise she'd just be her guessing that he's not thinking about me. Like, so it feels like maybe, you know, they hear what's going on his side. I don't know. I don't know. It was confusing. It was another part. I think that was the biggest flaw in the series was this magician episodes where they don't
Yes,
explain.
the magician is a flaw. He's just let's just pretend he didn't happen.
I didn't necessarily dislike. I still don't hate the magician guy. I just think that they didn't explain him well. They didn't explain it well. Yeah, yeah. I'm sticking with that. That's my opinion about the magician guy.
I think I'd still like to pretend that he didn't exist.
It's cool.
I'm just gonna pretend like he's not even there.
It is totally cool. The only he was a prop anyway for these two characters, or these, basically for the two characters to really confront their feelings, their lingering feelings, I guess. So he himself didn't really have a story. So I did kind of wonder what she wrote for his part of the article. Like, cause he's technically one of her 12 men. So what did you write in the article? Well, I met this magician guy on a plane, but he turned out to be a con artist who stole my diary and then gave it to my arch nemesis, my ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend, who that ex-boyfriend was actually Capricorn, who you met 7 issues ago. Like, what in the world did she write in this article?
I don't even know. I don't even know.
Yeah, so I think the magician guy was the biggest flaw.
So she can't. I mean, she didn't sleep with him, so in my opinion, she can't really do a whole heck of a lot.
Yeah, like they didn't even really have a lot of dating. Like the most dating, or whatever part of their relationship would happen on the plane when he was all guessing. They were kind of flirting. He was kind of flirting with her a little bit. In the guessing game of, what are you thinking? I can read what you're thinking. But,
and was he a Virgo or a Libra? Because in one episode, and I already said this earlier, one episode they classified him as a Libra, but on the plane they classified him as a Virgo. So what the heck is he?
I think when his let's see, search by image. For his, in the little correlation chart that we found, he is listed as, let's look. What is that sign? Oh my goodness. I don't know what that sign is. I think he was no. Virgo was the barista guy.
Yes.
Yeah. I think he's Libra.
So he lied.
Let's look up images for Libra and see if it corresponds. No, the barista guy is Libra.
Oh, okay.
This correlation chart is wrong, I think. Yeah. So it's saying that he's Virgo. Because that's what his star says.
Okay.
When they starred their names or whatever underneath all of them. The barista guys is the Libra sign with the scales, and his is the Virgo with, it's like a angel. There's like angel wings and stuff.
Oh crap! I just reblogged something that's not tagged properly.
I'm sitting here and looking at this, and if I didn't know any better, I'd say I actually clicked on the image of the the Virgo horoscope that they lifted for this poster. Like they went and searched Western horoscopes and found these images and lifted that exact print. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, so he was a Virgo. The magician was a Virgo. The the barista was the Libra. That's right, because she starts off the story and she says, he's a Libra, because Tanya was trying to hook her up with the barista guy, and she's like, no, you should do the barista guy because he's a Libra. And she was like, no, I'm definitely not gonna date somebody I know for this column. But I think that's all I really have to say. I think we've covered all the way up to episode 13.
And then some.
Yeah, and then a little bit extra. Mm.
All right, so you ready to end this podcast? And
Yeah. Yeah, I'm good.
that concludes the podcast for episodes 11, 12, and 13 of 12 Men in a Year, or 12 Signs of Love, wherever you choose to watch it. It has different names. So we will talk to you all later then.
All right. Bye-bye.